Hi, everyone. Welcome, and I'm very happy and honored to actually present to you Elsbeth from Global Women at Work from Qatar. We have a great conversation going around women in the culture and the workplace, and we're really looking forward to hearing from her today. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Mona. Hi, I'm very well, thank you. And thank you for having me today on this great webinar.
You're very, very welcome. I really want to go straight into it because I'm super excited about this topic. And I really want to know if you can tell us more about the Global Women at Work and what inspired you to create such a great idea.
Yeah, Global Women at Work, basically, it's a spin off from Global Women Qatar, which I founded in 2012 with my business partner, Danielle. At the time, I was working with PwC, and it was just announced that Qatar was going to host the World Cup, which has just passed. So everyone was so excited in the country; it was exploding, and I was like, "Okay, this is a very magical place," and everything started to happen. So then I met my business partner at one of the very many networking events here in Qatar, and we decided together to start a recruitment agency just for women. And why we did that, we thought it was a very bold move because we both worked in a very male dominated environment. But then we were like, okay, we are in the Middle East. Women are a great asset here, let's say, or a different than like where I'm from in the West. So we were like, okay, let's do this. Let's do this. So we run it till like 2017. And then in 2021, I decided to relaunch recruitment, and I started telling everyone about it, that I was back. And then I organized an event with three other women platforms here in Doha. And we had so many women coming on that night. So kind of my business steered away from recruitment into community based services, all specifically targeted at women.
Wow. And how's that like now that there's a community? How has this been embraced among the women?
Yeah, it's really amazing. As I was saying before, I kind of always had a community around me, and through Global Women Qatar, we built one as well, but we never really used it as such. So we were purely focused on like delivering recruitment services for our clients and candidates. But last year I realized, okay, there is really something in this community now which is quickly growing, and like by the day new women are joining us. So I think it's also brought on by the pandemic, that a lot of people were isolated. We didn't see each other, we couldn't hang out, we couldn't connect, we were very much on our own. And I see the very very big need now in women. I think it's around the world, but also specifically here in Qatar, because we are away from home, that we very much really want to reconnect and connect. And just for that purpose, kind of like getting out there again and getting to know each other again, and see what is out there now, and how we can help and support each other.
Yeah, about that, what are the topics that people need or have spoken to you about that they need to feel supported in or need further information on how to go ahead with it?
Yeah, it's very much about career. So the women in my community are professional women. So they either working, or they business owners, or they in between jobs, or they looking for a job, or they looking to re-enter the job market. So there's also a lot of like new women here in Doha. Last Sunday, I did my Where Women Connect event again, and there were a lot of new faces, and they all kind of ask for the same thing, is it's just information. Where can I find this, where can I find that, how does this work, how does that work here, what is different from where I'm from. So that's like what we try to answer as much as we can. And the network on its own, it's so supportive to each other, so people reach out to each other after the event, they exchange business cards, numbers, and they reconnect, and they start supporting each other in that way. So but it's all about like, yeah, information, and how to kind of like get a job or reinvent themselves, because what they did before in their careers, it's not possible here, because one of the reasons is that they don't speak Arabic, and one of the requirements is Arabic speaking. So there's a lot of like motions in the wheel going around here that, yeah, people need help with.
Oh, fantastic. So I love how the networks, each one is supporting one another to take it on further. That's fantastic. Um,
Yeah.
so if you explain to me what's happening currently in the work culture for women in the Middle East, more specifically in Qatar?
Yeah. Well, I've not been working in with an employer for a very long time, but I hear a lot of things happening in the community, and it's usually the same thing that I hear, and which most and for all are the working hours. When you look at other places, the working hours are a little less rigid and you're a bit more flexible. Here it's a little black and white. So when I worked here with a firm in my first year, my working hours were 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. So that's a very long day. And at the time, my daughter was 2, and it was very hard to kind of like combine working with being a mom. And that's what I hear from a lot of women in the community. Well, I have a family, I really do want to work, but that working hours are too long for me, and there's no flexibility there to work part-time, or like co-working with somebody, or working from home. Around the world, people are still working from home. Here in Qatar, everyone is back in the office. Not everyone, but a big group of people, what I've seen.
Mm.
Yeah.
So how do you think women can bring that across to the management or have that kind of way of influencing the decision makers to accommodate to people, especially young mothers or mothers who have young children?
Yeah, I think that it's a tough one. I mean, one of my questions is always like, are you being heard by your manager? Can you use your
Mm,
voice, let's say, in that sense? I think a lot of women try to, but it wasn't really listened to, or they were listened to, but then again, they are dependent on higher management or the owner of the company, where it gets kind of stuck. I
mm,
think that's one of the things. Um, so yeah, it's and not everyone dares to say. I think there's a bit of fear maybe there, or insecurity of like, can I really ask for that, or am I being looked at differently now, or taken seriously, or I think that's a bit of a thing there as well. But it's probably the same in other countries around the world. It's daring to step up, and daring to let your yeah, say what you have to say. So but I think here there's a lot to do in that, like it is around the world. But yeah, probably maybe more specifically here. But I do see things changing, and I do see women, or like hear women saying to me, it's okay when I go home earlier and I work from home. I pick up the children and then I continue working when I'm at home and I'm with the kids. It's okay. So there are changes. There are definitely changes there. Yeah.
And in terms of the management or the company itself, what kind of initiatives could they do to improve the work culture for women? How could they create this kind of a that helps women and supports them?
Yeah, I think it's like a two-way thing there. If maybe they can run a survey across their employees, like okay, maybe anonymously fill in this survey and tell us what you think. I think the communication channels should open up a bit more there, maybe like that people start talking to each other a bit more about that and ask like how can we make the changes. So it's a little black and white now, a bit rigid there. uh, it's either this or that. There's nothing in between, kind of, it seems. So I think, yeah, yeah, initiatives, opening up about it more. Ask your employees, like female employees, questions. And I think if you feel part of like the company culture, I think that would also make a lot of like a big difference there. Sometimes I hear from women they feel isolated in the company. They not really feel part of the overall workforce. They do their thing and then they go home. That's kind of it. Yeah. So I think there's many things um, they could do, but sometimes it's not so much in that company culture, or kind of at the root it needs to change a little first.
So it's the mindset of the management that needs to change first in order to take in what's being said in the survey, right?
I think so. Yeah, everyone can set out a survey and put it on the shelves again. um, but I think, like, yeah, if it comes from top management and then down and everyone is in it, that would be amazing, because there's always role models in companies. And if they are women leaders, like a manager or like a CEO or director, that already helps a great deal. There are some companies here with great initiatives. They lead women's programs, and it's run by both local and expatriate women, and that's a big step forward. So we need more of that for sure.
You see change when women are in leadership positions.
Yeah, I think that really, really helps. And you see more and more women coming here in leadership positions, also expatriate women. Um, and I think it's a great movement there, a great change. Um, and I think I was thinking about that the other day and having a conversation. I think it would be really great if local and expatriate women work more together. Now we still kind of on our separate islands. Even when you're both in the leadership position, I think if there's a more of a connection going and working together, I think that also would be really, um, really helpful. Together you're stronger, and even more if it's both, like, local and expatriate women in
Mm.
one room being very powerful. I think. Yeah, I'd love to do that more here.
I agree. I think if you merge cultures together, you'll definitely have a lot more insights to work with, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because there's so many cultures here, so many different nationalities, and we come from our home countries or from another country where we were before, and we all come together here, and then we all in one workplace, and that's asking for trouble or for issues or for like misunderstanding, I think, a lot. I think, yeah, if we have more monas in the world, like you, the more monas, and who could help, that would be great, because I think I see a lot of misunderstandings there. Even with like our help here at home, there's still this cultural difference. Even when we talked about it, it keeps happening. It keeps
Mm.
coming back, like crawling back in there. And it's like, oh, there we need help, some guidance.
Yeah, we'll sort of structure to make sense out of all of it, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Excellent.
okay, to ask you, actually, what do you see as three challenges women are facing currently in the work environments? What has come across to you?
Yeah, I think the first thing is the working hours. I think that's a big challenge. Because, like, for example, where I'm from, the Netherlands, the school hours are different. So the kids are longer in school. They start a little later, but they also finish later. And then usually there's this after school system where they can stay and they have great fun and they get entertained and they looked after, and the parents can still be at work and you go home late afternoon to pick them up and you're done.
Mm.
Here there's not a system like that, and the schools, for some, it finishes already at 1 p.m. So how are you going to do that? So this morning I spoke to a lady and she resigned from her job because
Oh,
she can no longer combine her job with the children at home. And I find that so sad to see, because she is brilliant in what she does. She has a brilliant job, but she said she can't do it anymore because of the working hours and the school hours. And here, everywhere you need to drive to like a sports club or to like another activity or to a birthday party, or it's all by car. There is no like proper support system. So you need to know a lot of moms who can drive your kids around. But then again, in the end of the day, you want to do that yourself, and it's hard. I think that's the biggest challenge what I see. And I think another challenge would be like growing in the company professionally. Um, are there like um, opportunities to grow? Is there like a growth path, like a career path? That's not always the case. And I think a challenge is like, yeah, women can sometimes be on their little islands, or maybe taken less seriously, not being really listened to. That's what I heard as well from a
mm.
couple of women. They want to be heard, but they not. They say something, but it kind of disappears into a big black hole. Or I think
Oh,
that there's something. Um, there's a challenge as well for women, definitely. Yeah,
so the idea of my voice not being heard is something you've been hearing from other women.
yeah, 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 yeah. They want to make a change, or they're asking for a change, or they suggesting things, and nothing is done with that really, or they're not really being heard. So yeah, yeah.
Mm.
But that's probably a global global thing, I guess. But I hear it fairly often from
Okay.
women in the community here, my community. Yeah, yeah.
And I heard you've done a recent survey that you launched in Qatar for women.
Ah, I'm still working on that one.
Oh,
Thank you for asking. I finished it last night, and I was like, actually, it's really great to set it out now after our conversation, so women are aware of it already a bit.
yeah.
And I think there's, yeah, a little bit of more thought I'm gonna put in today, and then I'm gonna set it out. So it would be great to do a second version of this
Yeah.
webinar to discuss the
Part
results.
coming up.
Yeah, I think I'm very you know the Dutch, we're very nosy. We're like, oh, I want to know about this and I want to know about that. Let me ask. So I was like, okay, let me do this through my little survey, and I'm doing it together with one of my good friends here, so she can reach her Arabic speaking community. So we have it coming from kind of both ends, which would be really great. And we just want to get more of an insight. What are really the three challenges? What can we do? What are they, the women in the workforce here, thinking what can be done and what can be changed, and what exactly are the issues here, and how can we kind of like see, okay, we have this top three issue now here, and how can we do this? Yeah.
Oh,
So it will be coming in the next couple of days.
well, keep us updated because we'd love to have that insight of common cultures across and what are they experiencing as women.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just, yeah, it's all the different cultures and like different thoughts. Um, and it's also, I think, interesting to see, okay, how many years experience do they have? Do they have the same kind of issues, or is it different? Is it different across industry, or is it in a particular industry where there are issues? Or so I think, yeah, this survey will give us really really valuable insights, what we can use to work on and improve things, not just here but everywhere.
No, really
Yeah,
looking forward to it. Definitely.
yeah. Oh, thank you. Me too.
And
Yeah.
I should check with you in terms of storytelling. And I'm sure you've, in your community, you've heard amazing stories from amazing women and what they've encountered in the work culture, especially also in Qatar.
Yeah.
Certain stories you can let us know about that you find were memorable in a way? We can actually.
Yeah. What I did last year, I started a new series. It's called The New You. Because here I find it so intriguing here. There, because of the different cultures, there are so many stories, and I love hearing them. I just absolutely love hearing them. So how do different women from different cultures perceive like working here, and like um, how they experienced it and how they kind of reinvented themselves?
Mhm.
Because I think, Qatar for that is the most amazing place, because there's so many opportunities here, and
Mhm.
like where you're from or where you lived before, everything was already maybe there. Here, not everything is already there. So there are so many gaps you can fill, or so many things you can still do. So the women, a lot of women I see here, they reinvented themselves completely. So
Mhm.
they kind of created their new you. And I was like, okay, let me ask them. So I'm asking them 5 questions. Like, what did you do before you came to Qatar? And how did you reinvent yourself? What skills did you use from your previous career? And what kind of advice do you have for other women out here? And the stories that come up, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's very yeah, very intriguing, and at the same time very entertaining. It's really really cool.
Do you
So
remember them?
sorry.
You remember one of them that you can share?
One of them I could share. Yeah, one of my. I've known her for quite some time here now. Actually, from like nearly day one, and she was an employee, in a very different kind of environment before she moved here, and she was in that same kind of environment here. So she worked in like a business center, like managing it, and like where people were co-working. And so here there's a quite a few of them. Uh, but then here she saw so many opportunities, and now she runs her own interior design company.
Oh,
Very different, very different. So it's office fit outs, it's private houses. I'm like, wow. And it's her own business, her own company.
oh,
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, very proud of her. So that's one of the crazy reinvention stories.
Yes, saw the window of opportunity for herself. That's fantastic.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I think here, if you can see an opportunity and you just need to jump with your eyes closed, you will be
Mm,
fine. And then from our community, you get all the information.
yeah, definitely a great initiative to have that community to support everyone.
Yeah, yeah, so needed, so needed. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, last question, and then we can start going into the Q&A is in terms of millennials and new joiners, what kind of advice would you give them before they join the workforce? What would you
Ah,
want?
yes. Like new, like people coming new here and join the, yeah, leave all your thoughts where you came from. Leave your hat there and put on a new hat here. And don't be surprised about anything. Just
Mm,
take it as like normal and just get on with it. Or like don't get frustrated. Don't get frustrated. Because as soon as you get frustrated, you're done. You're so done. You
okay.
do. So I think, yeah, go in with an open mind, and a flexible mind, and just enjoy the ride, meet new people and learn new skills. And yeah, yeah. And
Mm,
if you don't like it and you have the opportunity to go, don't stay. And make 100,000% sure upfront, if you do say yes to a job, that you're really sure you want this, not just
oh,
do it because you want to work. That doesn't
oh,
work in this place. Maybe back home, but not here.
okay, okay. So there's a lot more once you step in that you get exposed to, and you have to have that level of acceptance to keep going.
Yeah, a level of acceptance. And of course you don't need to accept everyone, everything, because there's limits. But I think, yeah, you have to have a flexible and open mind
Mm,
to, yeah, see all the things coming your way and kind of deal with it. Yeah,
great,
yeah,
great. Okay, we can actually start looking at the questions that are going to come our way.
yeah,
Um, First question is, let's see here. How can companies take care of the well-being of their female employees?
yeah. Yeah, I think that's again at the root of things. Like the working hours, the flexibility. I think that's where it starts, for female employees, that they feel they have that kind of sense of flexibility, that if it's needed they can leave at 4 p.m.
Mm,
And can still do, finish their work when they're home. I think that's one of the things, like looking at the foundation, like the basics, basically, where can we change things there, that there's more flexibility. I think that's one of the things, and that kind of like links to your well-being, because
yeah,
then you feel more relaxed about things, I guess. So that's the main. That's, I think, the main thing, that from the root there again, start looking at things, how to do it differently to more accommodate your female employees.
mm.
Yeah.
All
Sports
right.
membership. Another one. Go to the gym, like a gym membership, or I see that a lot here though. There's a lot of it here. Like there's corporate memberships, and so that's really nice. That's really nice.
Okay, fantastic. And what should companies do to attract and more specifically retain women in their organization?
Yeah, that's coming back again to that root thing.
Statement.
Yeah, yeah. I think what I've seen, especially also in the last few months again, people would love to work for that company they got the job offer from, but in the end they say no because of the working hours.
Mm, mm,
Yeah, I keep hearing it, and it's like, oh dear, that still hasn't changed. Probably for some companies, definitely, but the general trend there is that still um, that's like where it breaks off, basically. Yeah,
yeah, it's such
yeah,
a shame because also someone mentioned here. I agree with Elizabeth. Working hours has been a challenge for many new moms. I don't have kids, but I've seen companies losing many talents after their female team member became a mom and having to leave the
yeah,
organization for not being able to adapt with the work hours. So she's thanking you for bringing this up,
yeah.
and
Oh, yeah. You
yeah,
see, yeah, it's really a big thing. It's a big thing. Yeah, it's too extreme still. And still some companies they work 6 days here. So it's if you have a family, it's not it's yeah, it's undoable basically.
right,
And I think the problem is here as well. You don't have that support system like what you have back home, like grandparents or other family members nearby who can pick up your child, or that everything is okay. But here you don't have that. So I think that's what I hear from a lot of women as well. I don't have my support system here. It's all on me and my husband, or all on me. My husband is traveling a lot, so I'm here. I need to look after the children at the same time, and it's yeah, not doable then.
yeah. Maybe your community can create that support system for them in a way,
Yeah,
carpooling all together.
it's a
you
good one.
know.
We could be child carers at the same time for other people from each other. Good idea. Yeah.
Well, I mean, thank you so much for your time. It's been fantastic. I think there's one question here. How did the idea? But we've covered that before. How did the
Yeah.
idea come
Yeah.
to you? But it's
Yeah.
been fabulous talking to you, and thank you so much for all your insights.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I really look forward to part two of the survey and all the information that comes from it. It would be great if you can share it with us, and maybe we can have a second webinar about
Yeah, let's see what are the three main challenges. Maybe I was completely wrong.
it.
There's very different things out there. So yeah, I look forward to that. So I will definitely share it with you. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Great.
So much, and thank you everyone for listening in, and looking forward to our next webinar.
Great. Thank you so much, Mona, for having me.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Thank you.